what I was talking about was, and I don't think I made it into that video, but um, I've had so many good arguments that I've said in my house, and I'm sure that they passed off as their words at me. This is how ridiculous. This is the kind of thing that this is horrible. There's some psycho couple that thinks it can speak on my behalf. Who's been telling people that that was the situation. When they left me out of it, when you just leave someone out of, when you pretend to run someone's life, but you just leave communication out between you and that someone, it's just called fraud. When you horribly defame someone to make them look incompetent in order to make decisions for them, it's just called fraud. Impersonation also, when you pretend to actually be that person. Going around distributing someone else's funds, money, time, work. Whoever got that impression was ever okay. Going off someone's stupid misinterpretation from years ago, after they've been corrected 1,000 times by the woman whose life, body, mind, time, work, career it is. I didn't go into your careers to tell you how to run them, and that you owed me money. And you went into mine and pretended like I owed you fuck or something. When in reality, people are not owed anything from me on any level for any reason on any topic. That's actually confirmed by timing. And the fact that they were like, that's not okay. What could you ever think you were owed? What? As they steal from me and they're like, and we're gonna pretend like they're not even experts on anything. They thought they can reduce someone else's birth chart down to simple aspects that they were gonna give meaning to and expect me to go by for the rest of my life. They're imbeciles. And anyone who is complicit in what they're doing is just as much as one, just as much of an imbecile. The fact that the men in this town would rather play petty games and insult a woman of integrity and decency while humoring dipshit trash bins who barely graduated Mother Macaulay and are psychotic little imbeciles without a brain in their heads. The fact that they'd rather play petty games than actually get to know the only real worthwhile woman in this town. Minus a few people I found were actually nice, but I hope people can distinguish between when I'm like speaking about, those who have done such atrocious things that I don't even know really scratch the surface. The fact that someone went into my life and was like, and I'm her sister. Hello, Merry Christmas. Sorry. I just want to make sure that these things are clear, that that's just not real and not true, and so there's no confusion, so that I can not yell at people that don't deserve it on Christmas, but especially, but yeah, it doesn't feel like Christmas at all this year. I'm not doing anything here. I'm just proving that I'm alive and still breathing. want to play like a game or something. I want to play some sort of, do something that is an experiment of some kind. I get my tarot cards. I'm gonna try experimenting with my mind's eye with maybe shoving in accordance with shuffle or something like that. So, let's see. I'm convinced that a lot of the secrets of the universe can be found in the tarot. That, if you didn't know, was actually just a card game invented for a family. They only gave divination meaning to the cards later on. But gene therapy and whatnot came through for the Lover's card, and Human Genome Project, Wheel of Fortune. Recently, I'm thinking that, yeah, some kind of encyclopedia with all these translations would be interesting. I don't know. Do. I'll pull 3 cards. I know it's gonna work. On the spot. Come up with something to start. Okay. Pull 3 cards first, I guess, and try drawing something. Now looking at the cards, see if they line. Apparently, you have to shuffle them 7 times for it to truly randomize. Oh, I wasn't gonna look at them. That's the Ace of Cups. Okay. Oh, now that would also work out with the word Latin. I mean, religion, sort of connotation, and 5. Number 5 for Latin. 5 letters. Okay. All right. We'll see how this interesting. Looks like I was drawing the land, maybe. Maybe that's what's important out of the cards. The split. Here, you can. This is peace. In the Toth deck, 2 swords. This always comes up when I'm probably saying something people don't want to hear or want me to know, or spirit world is the same. Little bitch. Shut your mouth. As well. Interesting. Where's my pen? Are you sitting on my pen? I'm sure people will leave that wrong. Where is it? Note. Two swords. Page of swords. And 2 cups. That was fun. Maybe I can pull a few cards for people. When I was doing tarot readings, that was more so what I was like. So broad, apply them how you will. But Christmas reading. What do people need to know for Christmas? 4 of Pentacles and... Alright, so this is... I don't know if it was included in my live videos, but it was in my recordings last night about some of the paintings I saw at Art Institute yesterday, and a painting by Esnor. No, that's James Esnor. By Stuck. His name is Stuck. And it was Lucifer sitting like this, staring very intently. And that's the title of the painting. I see people sitting all the time like that, just like, not so much, not intentionally, but you can tell when someone's like staring at you with kind of otherworldly eyes. And yeah. Heaven sent. I feel like this is the white color, nail color. Appropriate for the things I was just talking about, and Chiron, and bringing things down into reality, tangible. All these things that are in the 12th house of music, poetry, and whatnot, mysteries, the universe, the unknown, spirituality. Bring them down into reality in some sense. It can just sort of... It takes time to see because, yeah, again. Though, I always thought that could be a really good card for the Bermuda Triangle. And also, this was coming up a lot when I was talking a lot about JFK Jr. and Caroline. So they were, on that plane with her sister that crashed. Cross, though. Christmas. feel like there's probably some sort of call to action, some kind. It's this like tension of holding back versus opening up one's arms to be received, I guess. That would probably also come up for like UFOs or some sort of abduction, whatnot. I just basically need to work with people where I could develop a working encyclopedia or dictionary terminology that are specific to that area or industry or focus project and whatnot, and then work within that context and use all my means of connections and overlaps, parallels, timing, and divination. I could probably reverse engineer an alien craft is all I'm saying. Just by being like, well, what's that? What does that do? What's that for? And finding a more or less decent explanation for it. $19. The wood carvings are what's really standing out to me, along with her blanket. So it looks like an astrology chart. I stare in the bottom, not the birth chart kind, but the one that they do like the steps looking thing on the bottom, where you can kind of cross-reference and see what the aspects are, if it's sextiling or conjunctine or whatnot. Conjunctine, I don't know. Conjunctio is a alchemical term for come together, basically the meeting point, energetic fields, an invisible point. That's what those midpoints are again. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been explaining this stuff for like the last 10 years. I'm just at the same time, perhaps just, okay, what else? Just come together. It looks like a Christmas garland. It's supposed to be some kind of little celebration of marriage or something like that. Also, four corners, structure, just a house. What is it? I had a good translation for that. I thought was very. Some rods also sometimes represent like DNA and things like that. It could be two people coming together, being four. It's supposed to be like the beginning stages of building one's own life, starter home. What else? Christmas? Any interesting things for anyone watching to doesn't have to make sense in some sort of grand way, but something that to take note of that will happen later on for them to confirm the legitimacy of these readings. Nine of Pentacles, some sort of reality check and bringing things into reality, making them feel real. Knight of Swords. Two different approaches. Someone who more or less rushes into a situation with someone else who takes their time. Ragged. I want to say like the clouds in the background look ragged and torn the way that my blinds did when the cats ruined them. Chariot. All these have to do with transportation of some kind. The nights, usually, especially moving somewhere, going somewhere, taking a trip with probably maybe these two people together. Or it's bringing these two energies together. You have opposite energies here. That's what the Chariot card means, harnessing that energy and bringing it together. So air and earth. Five streams of consciousness. I was talking about watching that video about reality and what's outside of our reality and simulation and they were talking about these insects that are on a bottle and they can't distinguish the difference between, they think that they're like making love to the insects that are inside the bottle. Okay, I'm gonna have to find the video because I'm not gonna explain this right. But for some reason that really the flat foot on the water might be ripple time. In ripple time. And the bird in the tree in the background. The seven sisters of Pleiades star constellation. I'm not like such a prediction, like this is what's gonna happen, because I to manifest things into reality, then it's not my place to. But in connections, I feel like you find some kind of application to your own life. That's a star card. It makes sense with like Nico. I was talking about Nico from the Velvet Underground. Aquarius. How do you reconcile that? How do you maybe bring together something that you just simply see no resolution for in the world, World Wide Web? How do you, what's on the horizon? To know the truth, to know beyond, what's beyond? What is beyond? And I was talking about obelisks in that video, and I had made that connection between the obelisk looking at the Washington Monument and the reflection pull in As Above, So Below, and then Spike Jonze directed Apple commercial with or FK Twigs. She pushes these things apart, talking about shapes and higher dimensions, and how if you were just flat, maybe go back and find that video, something about Egyptian overlooking garden. There's that recurring shape of and the Dior show. Some connections. I'm terrible over here. Which was also just kind of referencing the Da Vinci Code and the end at the bottom of the pyramid at the Louvre, where the Mary Magdalene sleeps under a starry night sky. Pyramid shape, but Also the inverted pyramid and 2 swords. Shapely, it's the Shapely playlist, Shapes in Higher Dimensions. Any thing to watch out for, specific locations, any car trouble or transportation trouble, navigation. I want to say navigation trouble. Not getting lost. Maybe. Post up. The Post. This comes up for the Post. Some Washington Post. It's a little cardinal Aries sign, the first to know something or to figure something out. Celebration, joy. This is sometimes associated to that. Joy to the world. The 2 of Wands before. The Earth. May Earth receive. World's also transportation. You're talking about travel. Whirlwind, romance. Is what if we all really are like these, like, kind of oh, thank you. The painting I saw yesterday, in the Impressionist wing, is I'm forgetting it now, but basically it's the amalgamation of all these things, I think, different animals, and she's taking out of it. But then what's with that, yeah. Party, it's a party. 3 swords, 3 of cups. Ravens, climax, dream, fate. I'd recommend going if you haven't. It's great. Headed up to a party or someone's house, going up to their house. Family, probably. On your big white horse, maybe you're getting to the point. Things are getting to the point. I wrote that down somewhere. There's something that side on a TV show right after my family had left to go to Hyde Park, which is where the promontory point is in the park. Just a building that looks like the building in the background of the Four of Wands. Again, there it is. So I like that. I used to take violin lessons there. 4 violin strings, the 2 wands on either side of the staging hay. Setting the stage, setting the I'm gonna say pool. For some reason. I mean, it looked like a pool, but almost imagining like things being built over a pool or some sort of like pool. The winter. I don't know if that makes sense. Some sort of deck. Maybe having drinks on your deck or something. What's on deck? That could work for the two of wands. What's on deck? What's coming up next? And the next, hopefully, hey, unhealthy. It's just me and Muffin in here. Muffin, you're so cute. Some kind of genie. That's why it's careful what you wish for. Some sort of genie, genius. Your I want to say Starbucks. Same with all your cups and just highly caffeinated. Oh, I was at Starbucks earlier, seeing in like the bay window. Cups. There's a lot of swords, a lot of words. The next hour, whenever people see or hear this, card that brings a word to mind. Holy shit, little bitch. Mindseye, also, maybe. I was also something about a city, right in the city, waiting, sitting pretty, shining dog. It is the 4 o'clock hour, it's 4:58. Intercom. I want to say that. I mean, it means a million things, obviously, but that's what comes to mind. I'm looking at that card right now. Intercom. You need to call downstairs more easily, or something. Line of communication is little bit distorted or something like that. It's like she's peering deeply into her. A lot of drapery. A lot of drapery. I did mention my blinds earlier that were torn off. Maybe you need blinds. I need blinds in this window, but you need blinders on. Blinding lights. Maybe you should be careful when driving. Just pull over side of the road if anyone's behind you with their brights on. Something like that. If you can't see, just pull over and wait it out. Snow. I feel like this is a hazard. These things are like a little bit hazardous. Air powers, Prince of Airs from that Isis Unveiled book, one of my earliest readings. That it's in the remix video, and something hits my gate because it's very much an air type thing with the Justice gate card that had come up, and then I was reading about the princes of the powers of the air and got really freaked out. So 3 a.m, and there was just like, it's so quiet here. That's why I'm baffled as to why people are still confused about what I mean, because I'm very vocal. So, Human Genome Project, Wheel of Fortune, Fate. There was a painting called Fate yesterday that by Wagner. Something thrown into a gate. I got a different translation for this reason. I'm trying to remember what it was. It reminds me of that saying of having one foot in this world, one foot in another. Bible talks about being in this world but not of it, in a sense of having a higher calling or whatnot. And he's wearing 2 different types of shoes, holding his ground. It also reminds me of the movie I just watched, Eden, with Jude Law and names Anna, and the girl that gives birth. She's from Euphoria. What's the blonde girl? Gives birth while being attacked by a pack of ravaging dogs. They're on this like island, and she just growls right back at them. And they go away. Not an easy life. For settlers, maybe. It reminds me of the moon landing, putting a flag in a charted lands. Mars, maybe. Cardinal Aries sign. Hallelujah. Catching up. 5 of Pentacles. So there's a lot of having to do with like a pace, quickness, transportation, but overall pace, pacing oneself. There's a very calm, stable energy with the Queen of Pentacles. Quiet. It's supposed to be the quiet one. No. She's so loud. Or tracker, tracking one's, retracing one's footsteps. Maybe you lost something very precious, and retracing one's footsteps. Because this has to do with marriage, perhaps something like a ring. Quick to speak, perhaps with that Knight of Swords energy and the Knight of Pentacles, bringing in some alternative, perhaps, perspective. The headdresses here remind me of some headdresses I noted in Mongolian headdresses. Gardens to yesterday. And if I were a jewelry designer, I would just go to a museum and look at all those for inspiration, I guess. The double chains. The Starbucks I was at has these like chain curtains. I think are cool. Armor, birds. His mind is very quick, very fast talker, I guess, sometimes. Lighting a fire under. Moth. Moth. Recent Nobel Prize. Saturn. The glyph on his hand. Saturn being the slowest moving planet, so maybe it's really advising to drive slow or take your time in getting somewhere. Take your time in grasping something, fully understand a concept. Take your time in what you're saying. He's making a point also. Maybe you feel like you need to make a point about something or get to the point. Doesn't really make a lot of sense for Christmas, but it's desert landscapes besides the cards with Egypt, and just like mountains, the ledge, rock climbing, that movie that been the recent playlist. Watch your step. I would kind of equate it to the world card and the 1221 in my birth chart as well, though, and the 4 people, and she's in the tent that well, if it were to fall back down to earth, it would kind of be like the chariot or Palisade in that blue tent coming down to earth and parachute. Making a choice, choosing directions, which way to go. Maybe feeling like a lot of pressure to make the right choice. Two-way street. It goes both ways, or it's a double-edged sword. Maybe you're doing a situation that's kind of like a double-edged sword. Trying to find a way to pull it all together. Chariot. Exactly. Exact point, exact place of meeting, an exact destination or location. Between two worlds, perhaps. Between cars. I am between cars right now. I don't have one. This just always reminds me of someone saying on like the front row of a runway show and just kind of being like, but honestly, I was almost shocked when I saw that painting because I've many times if I walked into like a coffee shop around here and just saw someone like almost like mocking me because I was just having to deal with this like hairline lip infection thing that's on my face and it's just awful. It really hurts. You never thought it. Hair of a dog, just be that painful. But yeah. The other painting, Demons Are Teasing Me, by James Esnor. A dove of peace, a wafer, water lilies, talking about impressionism, condensed time, sense. Paintings created over a period of time or in different light, different time periods of the day. Looser structure, form, and painting. I was taking a walk and doing my timing experiment. It was back in October. I had walked to the park and it was just a little water fountain and the water making an arch. As I said, over time, as I passed it, just things like that. And things developing over time. You can't really appreciate how timing works out unless you let it play out in a sense. Offer, drink, spilling the beans. A leak, perhaps. Maybe a water leak, burst pipe. Frozen pipes. Although it's not that cold here, I don't know, maybe elsewhere it is. my little black cat sitting right in front of me. Perhaps something is incomplete. Different fixed zodiac signs, different animal instincts. What did he say in that Eden movie? About the truth is in our. We try to evolve beyond our animal instincts. The truth we thought was in animal nature. Still one of my favorite translations, that this guy is just, imagining the completion of his tableware set. Someone who takes a lot of pride in their dishware, I guess. Their dishware. Just imagining that final perfect piece for their entire collection. Or an offer to maybe get a drink or something like that, but maybe put a pin in that. Blow intro. The Ace of Pentacles, all these things, just like an offer, a gift, and probably exchanging gifts today, but crown chakra. Maybe you'll need some, you'll drink a little bit too much and go overboard and need some Tylenol recovery tomorrow. Maybe not to drink too much if you would be driving home. Something simple like that. Just be alert. Maybe that's what the 20, which is also Degas breakthrough, and that means going home. I was talking about that the other day. Circuit training with Degas. It's a elliptical, elliptical. Not ellipses. Wow, it's the 8, and it's a breakthrough. It's number 20 in the room deck, and so maybe on your way home, maybe don't blow a stop sign. Maybe it's as simple as that. I'm coming for you, bitch. It's a ledge movie. Having to climb up the mountains, very much that like Capricorn goat energy that just keeps on trucking up the mountain. Where do you have that energy in your birth chart? Where do you see that most prominently displayed in your life? Is where you just keep going no matter what. It's kind of relentless. That goat that just keeps moving up the mountain. I equated to aspect lines of my birth chart and the red line that goes up the mountain up to Jupiter, Olympia, Paramount. And she's rock climbing in that mountain. So ascension, maybe ascending, next level, higher dimension. Spirit animal. Sea muffin. I just think you this little thing. cute. Do something cute. Okay. One more card. Any advice as far as ways to make this a memorable Christmas? Things to not miss out on? Muffin. Fortune. The wheel, you take the wheel. Circled spins, wonder why you can't see me? Because if you speed up a car moving around, it eventually disappears in that Lucy episode. And jeans. The lovers. A fast, I had to say whirlwind romance, maybe something having to do, again, with pace and just pacing yourself. Maybe you're drinking, don't drink too much. Really exciting tips here. Anything would happen that you would need to know to avoid? I did think Anna de Armas' character in the Ida movie was very much indicative of the Empress card or Venus and Scorpio type energy. Stuck in traffic. Rush. Maybe you saw me driving home from Rush Hospital. I didn't see anyone. There for dermatology. Deal with my adult acne issue here now. I don't know. I didn't even have acne as like a teenager. It's not what I was thinking. It's what I'd have to be dealing with as a 40-year-old woman. Love and say hi. Here's a card from Muffin. It's a card from Muffin. Eight of Cups. Eighth house, very Scorpio. Oh, is that your card? Wedding tickets. I'll do wedding tickets. Stay off Western. That place that gets you if you go over like a mile speed limit. Oh, okay. We'll just end this here. Merry Christmas. Depth, greatness, and vision. So I was drawing a TV, a mouse, and a computer.